You will have seen the news about the horrific flash flooding in Libya, where the centre of the town of Derna has been wiped out. At least 5,000 people are dead and up to 10,000 are missing.
The survivors here have lost everything and everyone.
This is a disaster. My sister, her sons, her daughter and granddaughter, a total of 11.
Rescue workers are combing the area for survivors, but in most places they find no one alive. This is grim and difficult work, and it could take weeks to recover all of the bodies.
It's just horrific, isn't it? This is an ongoing humanitarian disaster with the UN and neighbouring countries rushing to try to provide help. On one level, this was, of course, a natural disaster. A storm brought a huge amount of rain and produced the sort of flash flooding that we get in our deserts. But there was human error here too, with at least 2 dams built to prevent floods failing. There are already claims about faulty engineering and neglected maintenance. But what are the usual suspects in the media and elsewhere talking about? Yep. Even while the search for survivors and bodies continues, they're ramping up the climate change angle.
They're now facing criticism because also there was no maintenance apparently in the area with those dams, and some people say it was poorly managed.
Surely collapsed dams are nothing new. Unfortunately, this happens elsewhere, but expert groups had recently labelled Libya a country at risk.
Yes, because the situation in Libya is that a lot of its shorelines, they're really low-lying areas, and this is where the population lives. So these people are at risk. Also, well, temperatures are extremely high there. We know that there's global warming, but in Libya, there's a lot of desertification. The weather last summer, temperatures hit 50 degrees. There's also, yes, deforestation. The water levels are moving up.
Yeah, it's just incredible, isn't it? Eyewitnesses have talked about cracks in the dam walls that have been drawn to the attention of authorities there for years. There are reports that no maintenance had been carried out for more than 2 decades at those dams. The dam walls collapsing was the core disaster. But no, the climate alarmists not only used this as an example of global warming chaos, they quickly spread the hysteria elsewhere.
The soil is very dry, so when it rains, when it floods, the flooding is worsened, damages are worse. That's the problem. But of course, we can see other images from elsewhere. This is in Libya, of course, but elsewhere in the world, there also have been the same scenes. Even countries like the United States and also Indonesia and others, those dams, this is in the US, for example, dams have been bursting for years, but now there's more rain, the episodes are more violent, so we need to rethink everything and manage them in a better way. This is Indonesia, and there was also a catastrophe in Brazil a few years ago.
Yeah, it's all happening everywhere, apparently. Tragically, of course, there have always been damaging floods and there will always be floods. I think the priorities here are to help the people devastated by this disaster and then find out what went wrong with those dams.